This is CBM Reviews, which stands for Comic Book Movies. This is Cameron, and this is a review for Star Wars: The Last Jedi. I know, not technically a comic book movie, but there are Star Wars comics. I'm going to tell you the things that I liked. I'm going to tell you some of the characters. I'm not going to spoil it for you because I'm not a bad person. There are a few issues that I have. I think that this is like Take 5, the candy bar. They put in so much stuff into this movie. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. What I am saying is that they could have literally made 2 movies, almost 3 movies out of the content that they put in there. I don't remember how long this movie is, but it breezes by. There are pretty much like 3 main plots. There's like the Rey plot, and then there's the Poe plot, and then there's the Finn plot. And then there's some other like subplots, like there's what's going on with Kylo Ren, but that kind of feeds into the Rey plot without going into spoilers. With those 3 subplots, there's just so much going on, and it's always fast. Like whenever one is kind of going on the slow side, there's another one that's picking up. Everybody does a great job in this movie. Everybody does fine. Kudos to Mark Hamill, who pulls off a brilliant job as Luke Skywalker. There's Finn. He does fine. John Boyega does the role, reprises the role of Finn. He's fine. Rey is fantastic in this movie. The relationship that she has with Luke as an apprentice of sorts, it's really compelling. Kylo Ren actually has a very complex part in this movie. It was interesting. He's a very deep and compelling character. Look for him to do something even more in episode 9 when it comes out. So we got to address the elephant in the room, and that is last year's passing of Carrie Fisher, who has played Princess Leia in episode 4, 5, and 6, and 7, and now episode 8. The scenes with her in it, they are very personal if you grew up with the Star Wars franchise. I mean, at this point, if you're a big fan of the Star Wars franchise, you've probably already seen it. But if you haven't, watching those scenes with her in it definitely can get at you and tug at those strings. Especially one scene close to the end. No spoilers. I promise I have not spoiled anything. But there's one scene close to the end that definitely, if you made it thus far, this is the scene that'll get you. When I watched it in theaters, the whole theater was just dead silent quiet. And I think people were just trying to hold back. The ones that were, really big fans, they were just trying to hold back because it was such a very powerful scene. I'm not going to say anything else about it, but it was a good send-off. There are a few surprise characters that you don't expect to see. There's one cameo in particular that if I told you, somebody would do bad things to me on the internet. So, I can't say, no. With episode 7, there were a lot of parallels that went with episode 4, A New Hope. And I thought that they did that to kind of reassure the old school, the OG Star Wars fans. It's okay, we know what we're doing. This one doesn't run as parallel to Empire Strikes Back as Force Awakens did with A New Hope. And that's not a bad thing. They do have a few parallels, some of which I can't really tell you because we're going into spoiler territory, but definitely worth a look. There weren't a whole lot of lightsaber battles. I know that with like episode 1, like the prequels, there's a huge emphasis on lightsaber battles, and you just don't get too much of that in this one. I'm not saying that they don't exist. They're in there. There's one in particular that's very satisfying. but there aren't a whole lot. All in all, this movie is really enjoyable. It's one of those movies that I would definitely recommend seeing in theaters. If you're a fan of big budget movies, even though you're not the biggest Star Wars fan, you should still go watch this movie. There's plenty to enjoy. It's one of those movies that I think that you miss something by not going to theaters and viewing it. So definitely go to the theaters, watch this movie. Thank you for watching my video. If you enjoyed what you saw here, hit that like button. I think it's in that corner. Also, I'm new here, so I can't say if you're new here, subscribe. So just subscribe, and I'll try to put out as much content as I see fit that's comic book related. I'll see you next time.